Welcome, welcome, welcome. Look what we have here today. This is a beautiful, beautiful K-line Fairbanks Morse Trainmaster. What a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous piece. Look at that. Lackawanna. It's got these, I never saw these on a Trainmaster before. I have no idea what it is. But they pop up. It's like a little step or something. But it's a beautiful piece. It's got the, as they put it, the rotating fans, as if it really matters. But the detail is interesting. Another one in the back. We got the little engineer there in the window that needs to be cleaned. And beautiful painted railings. Yellow on the ends. See the front end here. Oh, beautiful. See, it's got that same little thing. I popped them down. There's the Lackawanna Railroad logo. Really, really nice. Now this one does not have the end screws. It is held together with these screws down in here. There is, I think, 8 of them, or at least 6 of them. Yeah, there's one there. I think there's 6. And hold it together. You got to be careful you don't loosen the wrong ones, and things will fall apart. So let's get it unscrewed and see just what is under this hood. Is the speaker. I didn't power it up. I didn't do anything to it. I just got it. Traction tires look okay. They don't look that bad. So we're going to see what this is all about. I'm going to check the gearboxes for grease. And that's that. Let's get the top off. Okay, here we are on the inside. And let's take this in a little at a time. Here's our engineer. And here's his Goomba, the other engineer, on the other side. Where'd he go? There he is. Alright. The lamps are hardwired to the shelf. And there are those, you can see the move, blow on them. It's so cute. And there, upside down, because I can't turn it over right now the way I got it, is the K-Line logo. Chapel Hill, North Carolina, made in Korea. And here is the electronics. This is the smoke unit. This one has a smoke unit. Interestingly, one motor, excuse me, happens to have a, appears to have a steel flywheel. This one has a brass flywheel. I don't know what the reason for that is, if there is a reason. Very interesting unit. So we're going to check pop the screw off the bottom, check the gearbox for grease, because we don't know the history of this thing. I got it without the original box, just the way you see it. It came in a Lionel box, which is fine. It's fine. Okay, let's see what the gearboxes look like. Beautiful detail on this shell. Really nice. Alright, this looks like it has some of that Korean grease mixed in with something that somebody else added later on. It's a little schmeary and sloppy. So I'm probably just going to clean that up and put some of that synthetic stuff I got in there. This can disconnect, by the way. If you want to unplug this to remove the shell. Each one of them has a plug on it. I'm just going to leave it though. I don't need to unplug it. Mess with these plugs. Next thing you know, they break. Okay, let's get this cleaned up and re-greased. Alright, so I cleaned it out, put some silicone in there. I have this, I got it all wrapped up in this That's a dental irrigator. It just nipped off the tip to make it easier to squeeze the grease out. Works great. Works absolutely great. So we'll look at the motor back in. Put the screw in. We'll do the other one. Okay, this motor is in. Interestingly, the motors are marked made in China. Looks like you can't escape China. When you put these back in, you tighten that screw down there. You go really slow and make sure that she's meshed. And then you turn the top and you can see the gears moving. And you know you're properly seated. You don't want to have it that it's not seated and you tighten that and just smash all the gears and goodbye motor, goodbye gearbox, goodbye everything. All right, let's do the other one now. The other one's going to be gotta be careful, get grease all over the place with this thing in that little compartment there. All right. We got, here's the little engineer sitting up there watching. So we got that cleaned out. Squish a little bit of this synthetic grease in there. Get a little more in the other. I think I'm at the end of my travel here. Got to refill. Okay, let's get some more grease. Alright, we got that greased. Getting it back in. And see, just move the wheels a little bit. Get those gears to mesh. Get that screw back in there. Alright, this one became a real pain in the neck. I actually had quite a bit of a problem. Not quite a bit of a problem, but a little bit of a problem trying to get the gears lined up. I almost wound up doing what I told you to be careful of, and that is mashing them. So I had to pull out the little thing with the engineers on it, and one engineer fell off. So we're going to get the hot glue. I'm going to glue that sucker back on, and then we're going to test this thing out. Alright, so we got the little engineer hot glued back in there. This hot glue's good stuff. A lot of these K-line passenger cars have the interiors with people, and a lot of times the people break loose. This is the best thing, is the hot glue. Alright, let's put that back on there, and we'll get this back together and give it a little test run. Alright, I turned it on and this motor didn't run, and lo and behold, look at that. And somehow that was connected in here. I don't know how that was broken. It looks almost like it was cut. So we're going to have to solder a wire from there to here. We'll get a blue piece of wire and we'll patch it up nice. And then I heard some clicking going on. I don't know if it was the relay or what, so we need to do more checking on this engine before we can say that it's good. Alright, so we changed the burnt bulb. Seems like it's got this rattling of the relay when it goes into forward mode for a while. Well, we'll see what happens when we get it on the layout upstairs. Let's get the top back on. It's an interesting piece, very interesting piece. A couple of loose screws here and there. We had to tighten down. Always check for the screws. Got our little engineer back in place, and we got to clean the windows before we put it back in, before I forget. Okay. A couple of other interesting things to note with this K-line. Totally different handrails, as you can see. The ends are like, and the tops are like wire, like the others. These are just like these flat. I guess it's metal. Feels like painted metal. Then attached to this frame that goes all around. You can see this is the frame that supports that rail. It's part of that rail. And on the very end, you can see where the wire is bent in. That's where the screw mounts. So there's one there, two there. And another interesting thing about the engine, trucks, the motorized trucks. It looks like all 6 wheels are geared. The Lionels, and I believe those, I gotta take another look, but I believe even those custom trains, Trainmasters, have just a dead wheel, just like a dummy wheel. This is, these are geared. See? The whole thing is geared. All 6 wheels. Now, whether or not this middle one actually contacts the track is another question. It might. It has no flange. It's a blind wheel. But that's an interesting thing to take note of. That we have all 6 wheels are geared. And I don't know any other Trainmaster that does this. Certainly not the Williams, and certainly not Lionel, and certainly not Custom. And those are the only other ones that I've actually ever examined. So that's that. I think I have another K-line upstairs too that I never even looked at this closely. Yeah, I think I do. It's a Pennsylvania. Anyway, that is a very interesting aspect about this engine, that the whole truck is geared. They put a few drops of grease on those gears too once you get this together. Let's get it together. You know, these engines, these newer engines, these K-lines, all these blasted wires, they're such a pain in the neck with all these damn screws. I had almost all the screws in, and what do I notice? I had a wire pinched over here. Didn't even notice it until almost I had them all. Just took them all out again, and I just fixed it. Okay, let's try this again. All right, so there it is all together. It makes that rattling noise and forward, which is the relay. Why it's chattering like that, I really don't know. Hopefully it'll last. Maybe I'll send a note to the guy I bought it from, see what he's got to say about it. Could be a capacitor, because if you give it a little extra juice, it really doesn't do it. That's not normal. It is not normal. I wouldn't know which capacitor, and I don't feel like checking all those boards and so on and so forth. So we'll either leave it alone, or we'll see what the seller has to say about it, because I really don't feel like returning it, because I think it's otherwise in pretty good shape. It came with a, what did he put it in? I think a Lionel box that doesn't have the original box. But I think it was cheap. I don't remember what I paid for this. I can't even remember. Honestly, $115. I can't remember. I don't think it was much more than that. Anyway, that's it. We're going to try it out on the layout next. Okay. Alright, so here it is on the tracks. This is the K-line Fairbanks Morse. It's pulling 7 passenger cars. Those are K-line passenger cars. So we got a K-line engine pulling K-line passenger cars. So this engine does pretty good. It has a very slight issue with the that relay that kind of chatters a little bit at very, very low voltage. But other than that, this thing is beautiful. All 6 wheels are geared in each truck, as I showed you before. That's our little bell ringing crossing signal there. And that's that. So it's a good engine. Really nice. A completely different casting to the mold, to the shell, as opposed to the Lionel and the other ones, the custom trains and MTH. Completely different. Much, much nicer. A little more delicate, but very, very detailed. K-line did a really good job on this one. Traction tires, it pulls very well. And that's about it.